everyone, welcome to another cast by HD Phoenix. I can't wait to start casting again. You have no idea. I finally got a new comm and a new mic. Hopefully I sound better. And if you notice, the graphics are actually amazing. The pure ultra. You know, love the animation on the mineral patches right here. And well, okay, I should actually talk about the game. This is going to be pRoRenson in the 2 o'clock position and inFiRevenant in the 7 o'clock position. And this map is Zaunaga Caverns. This is actually Dogsi's monthly 4, round of 8. And this is the final best out of 3. Now, the first match was really good. It was actually Renson going 3 gate into a Nexus expand and was able to put out so much pressure that it forced Revenant to get so many roaches because he was playing on Scrap Station, and that ramp is huge. So interestingly enough, because the ramp is so huge, Zergs like to put a lot of pressure and force their opponent to make a lot of units, but Renson is like, screw that, I'm not going to sit back and let the Zerglings contain me. I'm going to push out with a lot of Zealots, because the Zealots just demolished the early Zerglings, and once the Zerglings were demolished, it forced Revenant to make so many roaches to deal with the Zealots. And then Renson was like, okay, you make roaches, I make Stalkers and Immortals, and he pushed with 4 Immortals and just decimated Revenant. Revenant really couldn't do anything about it, and Renson was like, okay, if it works. Oh, actually the pro managed to die. Actually, a pro tip is, if you're going to have sight, you should rally your workers behind the mineral line. If they actually scoot in between, it's very easy for you to just drag click and A click, and then your workers will surround the opponent's workers and kill it. But actually Revenant is going to kick it up a notch. He's not going to even let me talk about the previous games, because I think he knows that we're going to BM him a little bit. But actually there was really not much he could do in the first game. But coming back to the actual game, this is huge. Once the probe died, he was able to throw down a double hatch, and double hatch is really good on this map because this expansion is really hard to hold. And once the Protoss sees it, he can basically go an early 4 gate and crush the expansion, and you lose it. But so instead he was like, okay, I can't get the early expansion, I'm going to need the hatchery anyway, let's get it in base. But Renson, being the very pro player he is, he was able to actually scout the in-base hatchery, and this is ringing huge alarm bells inside Renson's mind. And actually, look at that, Revenant was actually able to delay that Cybercore. I was just about to say, with a double hatchery like this, it instantly signals to the Protoss that, hey, I'm going to Zergling rush your ass. You know, because I'm going to have so much lava. And look at that, he's not even getting any gas at all. So Renson is like, okay, there's going to be a lot of speedlings really quickly. I need to get out as many Zealots as I can. I need to get rid of this Overlord. And I just need to basically hold a choke, because if you only have 2 Zealots here, Zerglings can actually chip away at this gateway. And if this gateway goes down, you've lost against this early pressure. But look at that, Revenant's actually not going to go for the early speedling. He actually was able to even kill Renson's second scout, and look at that. It's going to be basically a early expansion by Revenant. Instead of getting the expansion maybe on 14, he got it inside the base here. And this is this is like a 22 hatch. And these Zerglings is just fake. They're just going to come to the front and he's like, okay, look, I have Zerglings, you better make more Zealots, you better make more stuff to stay alive, and don't early expand. But meanwhile, Revenant is going to early expand, and with 3 hatcheries, this is like a little reminiscent of the TLO build. With 3 hatcheries, you don't even really need speed that early. You can just make a lot of Zerglings. And remember, even though Zerglings are slow without speed, they are still a movement speed of 3, and that's about as fast as a Stalker. A Stalker is not going to be able to catch any Zerglings. So even though a Zergling, even though you're not able to catch anything, you're basically able to run away. And then if they come, and yeah, Renson is like, oh crap, man, there's an expansion. But as I was saying, and these drones are like, see you later, man. You know, we're gonna have a party over by the Natural, and there's nothing you can really do about it, because I was just about to say, if there is going to be a counterattack, it looks like Renson is going to think about having a counterattack. Look at that, Renson immediately seeing the expansion, he's like, okay, Revenant's not going to attack me with any kind of speedlings. I'm going to feel safe to get my Nexus. But as I was saying earlier, once he decides to push out, the Zerglings may not have speed, but once they are on creep, the Zerglings actually are like speedlings. They actually have a speed of close to 4.5. So then, once on creep, they are able to surround. So only just then, Revenant is starting his speed, and this looks like it's going to be into a very interesting microfest, because only right now Renson is showing his forge, because earlier in the last 2 games, it was a 3-gate into early expand. But right now, as you can see, Renson only has 2 gateways because he was so scared of that early speedling attack. And he was just looking at 4 zealots already and 2 sentries. That's a lot of army. Looking at the army tab, 625 army versus 3 zerglings, 75 minerals. And looking on the income tab, yeah, Revenant is ahead. He does have 3 hatcheries. They are constantly being spewed lava on. And looking at the production tab, we have 6 more drones, even a roach warren, just to help out if there's any kind of early push. And I think Renson is going to have the early push right now, and I think he's hearing me, even though this match is like 2 weeks old. This Stalker is out in the front to scout. This is actually a little dangerous. This Stalker is the fastest unit for the I was just about to say for the Swarm. It is the fastest unit for the Protoss. He knows the Zerglings don't have speed, so they have equal speed. So this Stalker actually needs to join back the army. And as I say again, this is what Renson loves to do. He loves getting a lot of Zealots because Zealots just tear apart Zerglings. But look at that, Revenant is already having 6 roaches on the way, and look at that. He knows he doesn't have the Zerglings for it. Actually, looking on the units tab, he only has 1 Zergling, but every single one of these drones is acting like a Zergling. Yes, he is losing mining time, and even not letting them come up the ramp. Excellent defense there by Revenant, and these drones are going to go back to work because now there are going to be even more roaches on the way. No, actually not. There are 4 overlords on the way. It's just going to be the 6 roaches, and it looks like Renson's push is going to be denied. But the thing is Renson is constantly actually being slightly supply blocked here for a little second, just a little bit of a slip up. But you know, they are both constantly churning out workers. They are up to, actually, this is actually really fast. Oh, I didn't turn on my in-game timer, but my 6th sense tells me it's roughly around the 8-minute mark, and they're already at almost 50 workers. This is actually non-stop production of workers. We have 5 more workers coming out by Revenant, and look at that, we have double Evo chambers, and this is actually looking really good for Revenant because yes, it is very dangerous to get a Protoss on 2 base. But the thing is because Protoss needs time to warp in their units, and he only has 2 gateways. Only getting his 3rd gateway, oh, that's not a 3rd gateway, that's a Robo Bay. Look at the size of this army, it's not that big. If it was a 4-gate, you would have seen this army and much larger like 3 minutes ago and pushed. But Renson is being very cautious. He is constantly making units out of his 2 warp gates. These warp gates are not idle at all, but he's only sticking on 2 gate. And his army size is not going to be that big, and that's going to give Revenant the confidence just to break down this rock. It tells me that he is going to want to get a 3rd base here. He might actually come down to the gold here and take this base. And the problem is Renson is letting the Zerg get free macro. And you never, ever want to let any kind of good Zerg get free macro, because if you allow them to get free macro, they're going to get upgrades, they're going to get a whole bunch of units. Like, even, as I said, there is Missiles 1 and Carapace 1. By the Zerg, and even Tunneling Claws. So the thing is sentries are fantastically good against roaches, and actually these sentries have 8 force fields between them. But once the roaches get Tunneling Claws, they're actually able to burrow underneath the force fields and pop out the other side, and it negates all the advantage of the, well, not all the advantage. Yeah, you're able to get a lot of pot shots on. Oh, and this Overseer is gonna die a quick death. Yeah. Even then, just very quickly able to see the robotics facility and contaminate. But look at that, Renson is saying, okay, look, I see all your roaches with my observer. Where's his observer? Yes, there's the observer. Actually, almost being able to take it out with the queen because it came in within range of the spore collar. But Renson is very good with his scouting. I noticed that in all his games. And actually, it looks like Revenant is going to look for making a timing push. His 1-1 is almost completed, and he's going to be, see, he has Tunneling Claws, and it's going to come down to the micro, but Renson already has 1 Immortal and 3 roaches go down. But the thing is that is worth its weight in gold, because just now with that Overlord, he wasn't really able to see, Revenant wasn't really able to see the army composition, and he basically paid 2 roaches to see the composition of this army. And the thing is while Renson does have 1 attack, we do have Missiles 1 and Missiles and Carapace 2, sorry, what am I talking about? Missile 2 and Carapace 2 up for the Zerg, and Renson is going to think about expanding here. But as I was saying, in terms of upgrades, if Renson doesn't catch up on upgrades, it's going to really matter in the mass battle. And actually, we have Tunneling Claws over here. We are able to snipe out a couple of the the stalkers, 1 stalker for 3 roaches, and actually with these 4 immortals, okay, trading 1 roach for 1 stalker, that's not bad. But the thing is Revenant is a huge amount of trouble. I would really actually like to see a lot of Zerglings because Zerglings are really, really good. He only has only three Zealots. Actually, this is just a lot of Stalkers, and actually these Stalkers are just as fast as the Roach because the Roach moves at the speed of 3, so do the Stalkers. So these Roaches are actually able to run away from the Stalkers. But not so much. But the thing is you have to be very, very careful because there are a lot of Roaches. We have 33 Roaches. This is not going to be enough. Even though this is a direct counter to the army composition of Revenant, there's so many Roaches, and if you these Roaches should be burrowing under, but I'm saying if these Roaches position themselves correctly, there's so many Roaches they're actually going to be able to swarm and zerg this army down. Actually, that's actually what's happening now. The army is forced to retreat. Actually, this is really, really bad because these Roaches on creep and moving at a speed of 4. This Immortal only has a speed of 2, and they're actually going to be able to catch up with a lot of these Immortals and pick them off. And one more Immortal goes down. We're 4 Immortals down. There's only 1 left, and this one actually last Immortal might go down. These Roaches are off creep. They are moving at 3. This Immortal is moving at 2.25. He might actually get the last Overlord. No, he doesn't. The Overlord is actually able to get away, but this doesn't matter. There are more Hydras, there are more Roaches coming in and are swarming. We have Zerglings with speed going to counter, and the entire army of Renson falls down. This is what I'm saying. You cannot allow to let the Zerg free macro. Carapace 1, Missiles 2 and Carapace 2 is not even done yet, and because of the timing, he is able to push ahead, and this is really, really strong pressure by the Zerg, and Renson is forced to tap out. Like, wow, like as I was saying, if you let the Zerg free macro, and well, I would actually really like to see Renson get a lot more production facilities, because look at the minerals he's sitting on. He's sitting on 1,700 minerals, 1,000 gas. So during the entire battle, his macro did slip because he was microing really, really hard. So his minerals piled up. But I know, bro, you're going for 2 robotics facilities, and you're going for all these high-tech units, but you had 2 base, you had a lot of income. I'd actually like to see maybe at least 3 more gateways come down. If there were more Zealots in that mix, or even more Stalkers, really, it would have made such a huge difference, because at this battle right here, it was really, really critical. You had 4 Immortals and 12 Stalkers, but there were 33 Roaches, man. It's such a counter. Like, people always talk about build orders. Oh, my build order beats this build order. Yeah, Immortals and Stalkers crush Roaches, but when you have like 2 times more Roaches with upgrades, it makes such a difference. And basically, because there was no early pressure on Revenant, he was able to macro up really, really hard. And well, that's it. This is another cast by HDPhoenix. Hopefully you do like the new graphics. Hopefully you do like the new mic. And I'll see you guys in the next game. This is HDPhoenix signing out.